So grateful to be here and very happy to discuss these incredibly important and hard to talk about topics. He has an incredible backbone and staggering moral fiber. Howie is totally committed, completely ethical, totally admirable. No pressure if you can hear this, but honestly, Howie's a hero to me.
John, you joined us before, and it was a pretty incredible kind of testimony you gave, and you just devoted your life to advocacy for child trafficking, and even 9/11 truth. Maybe you could explain to us, in the last decade, what do you think the most challenging parts of coming alive on some of these issues have been?
Probably the hardest thing, and it continues, is just realizing that pretty much everything that I was told and taught since I was in grade school is probably not true.
On this anniversary of the birth of the Prince of Peace, my fellow Americans and I extend our warmest greetings to you, the people of Berlin. We observe this season of peace at a time of crisis. Peace on earth, goodwill to men, is more of a goal than a reality. Until truly there is goodwill among men, not walls dividing them, our pursuit of peace shall continue. The Christmas lights of free Berlin cast a glow which penetrates deep into the darkness surrounding. No wall can keep out this light. We know that this beacon will continue to shine brightly for many years to come. Good evening and a happy Christmas to you all. On this anniversary.
And the warrior Irish Celtic spirit of JFK smiles down from the mountains of Southwest Virginia all the way up to the city of brotherly love. And I'm sure he's smiling down on you tonight, Howie. So happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and welcome to the Traffic Report. It's 12:03.
Yeah, I guess this is our last show before Christmas.
Yeah, and on that, and it's been a strange day for me. A time to sit back and some reflections, and I want to share those with you. But one of them was I think in metaphors at times, and was just the thought of JFK watching what's going on now, and I think for the first time in a long time might even be smiling down on the house that he used to occupy, because there are some huge events happening, and we're going to try to cover them all to the best of our ability. But
this is what he wanted. I mean, this is what he was about to do before they murdered him.
Absolutely. And those words, they're more than that. That was a message to Berlin, and it's about freedom, and it's still about freedom. And we lost our freedom on the day he was murdered. Really, we thought we were free. we could walk around, and go to work. But
in the last 50 years, think about all the things that could have been avoided: Vietnam, Watergate, Iran-Contra. The list is, never ending.
Yeah,
the Clinton years, ending Glass, Steagall, and allowing, corporations to just run rampant, control our.
There's another great one. Maybe I'll save that for another time. But it's a speech
9/11.
He does about the Dickens' A Christmas Carol, about the corporations, and he was a thoughtful You know, I identify with that Celtic spirituality. I think you're Irish or Scottish, Howie. I don't know. But anyway, you know, it's just so many great things on so many levels are happening. Yeah, there's a lot of horrible stuff that's still going on, and none of this is going away overnight. But the tide is flowing strongly for the first time, I think, and that I can remember in my life, in the right direction. You know, and it's awe-inspiring. It's there's not enough adjectives to describe this. I was talking, you know, I've talked to a lot of people, you know, about this, Trish and you know, the people, you know, that we interact with on Twitter and our survivors, and it's amazing. Everybody feels what's going on, you know, on a feeling level, and so yeah, I'm refreshed. I'm a little worn out, you know, just from, you know, as you know, can you relate?
Yeah, I mean, you know, as you're saying this, I think we owe an amazing debt of gratitude to John Podesta, because I still believe that everything has, you know, something may have, you know, in regards to, you know, child sex abuse, you know, may have come to light, but, you know, his coding of his emails and, you know, that, you know, coming to light has just accelerated this. And it's, you know, and it's been, you know, over a year, but I mean, 2017 has just been, you know, revelation after revelation after revelation. And, you know, obviously towards the, you know, I'd say the last quarter of 2017, things have just, you know, ramped up in ways. I mean, I used to sit around on Twitter, you know, hoping something interesting, not interesting, but something big would come along. You know, a lot of times it would be a lot of rehashed stuff, but, you know, starting, I guess with the Harvey Weinstein, I mean, it's just been, you can't keep up with, you just can't keep up with, you know, at least I can't, you know, do my best.
This is my last metaphor, I promise, but yeah, and it goes along with what you're talking about. But all these criminals, these, you know, sex offenders, these, you know, just criminal entities, you know, that they are. They all have the personality flaw where they're compelled to reveal themselves, and John Podesta did it. There's a number of other people that I can, you know, go down a list and name, and they always do it. It's consciousness of guilt. They're not living a correct life, and they will continue. You know, they always end up giving you the ammunition that you need to put them away. And I think we're on the verge of that. But the metaphor that I, you know, because I was thinking about that as a big picture. All these from the low man on the, you know, the local sex offender, you know, to the sex offender who has an office on Capitol Hill, to the one that has an office in Hollywood. We've got these basically rats, you know, they're like half-drowned rat with everything that's been going on, all that's coming out, because these people know, they know their game's up, you know. So the image I got today, the metaphor, was you've got all these little, you know, half-drowned rats that are scurried into they're in their holes, you know, they've got nowhere to go, you know, there's no escaping, and the hour or the minute of their execution they know not, but they are sure that it is to come. And that was a very comforting image for me to, you know, at least the rats are in their hole, and the fact that they're, you know, they won't know when the hammer drops, but they know it's coming. So that's my last metaphor. But
that's cool. I just want to throw this in, you know, along the lines of things moving along quickly. You know, I was able to get back on Twitter again today.
Yes.
And
how
yeah,
welcome back.
Right, and I was, you know, I was looking through articles, and I went from one to another, and I got linked to, and I've been on, it's mysanantonio.com, and they've reported a lot of, you know, some you know, pedogate articles before, and I just came across this one that 120 people have been indicted on sexual abuse charges in one county alone in the first half of 2017. 120 people. I guess it's the county in which San Antonio lies. So, and that's just 120 people in in just the first half of the year. So if you say, all right, approximately 250 people in one county in the United States. Now think about how many counties there are, and think about, we need a tally for 2017, because you might be talking about, tens of thousands of people that have been indicted on these charges. I mean, is that normal? I mean, how many,
well,
seems like, yeah.
I know that indictments are, I've heard a couple of figures. I'm sure they're over 4,000, but I've heard some as high as 8,000 that are sealed indictments in the federal system. That's unheard of, unparalleled, anything. I mean, it's just,
people going down from all walks of life.
Oh yeah, from the lowly to the mighty. All
right. There's all kinds of different things. Even if it's not with children. I mean, the owner of the Carolina Panthers has to now sell his football team. I don't know.
Yes, I saw that. That. Absolutely. I was like,
owners of NFL teams don't sell, but apparently he'd like to sexually harass, people, and normally they could get away with this stuff, but it ain't happening no more.
No.
And people still can't. Some people still can't see what's going on. I mean, we don't have to rehash all the names that have just come out in the last 2 months, which is,
Yeah. And it's just, I mean, it's more than a floodgate. It's an avalanche. It's a tsunami. I mean, and we're going to be struggling but I think Trump and the people that are and Sessions, they're pretty well prepared. It seems like, but you can only be so well prepared for a tsunami. You still get blown up. And it's going to be difficult.
But you have to make sure that all the pieces are in place. You don't just because you have to make sure that judges are good. Everything has to be. Right. And I was watching Rachel Maddow last night, and the first part of her show was about the horrific tax bill passes, and then the second part goes into Russia and the fact that some politicians, particularly Republicans, are now questioning the honesty of the FBI, and she was just up in arms about this, that, you don't question law enforcement and they're trying to do all this. And it's like, now they're looking into who in the FBI, hopefully the CIA, have been compromised, and, what's been going on
and we'll try to cover these. There's just some bombs that went off today. One of the head guys in the Vegas shooter investigation, a lieutenant in the police department, went missing. He's MIA. Nobody knows where. I think that's a first. The biggest, and I'm not sure, and people did know this, but that executive order, find that online that Trump just put out, and it makes the pieces are falling into place. If you're gonna put these people out of business, you follow the money, you take their shit, so they're crippled, and that's their power. And so you have these indictments. Why are they sealed? Because you really can't seize anything, until somebody's at least indicted. Though the Justice Department has done that, the FBI, the corrupt side of it, has done that to people. But you can't do that. So you have these sealed indictments, and now even if that was the case, normally you'd have to go before a judge, and the judge would say, well, yeah, you can freeze those assets. No, you can't. So the genius of an executive order is, as soon as that's unsealed, the executive order comes into play, and all that individual's assets are done, basically. And just please read that, when you get a chance, because it's they are crossing, their T's and dotting their I's, and they're not going to miss, as my mom used to say, don't miss them and hit the wall, they're not. So that was huge. God, there was one. I know I'm missing something. Come on, help me out, Howie. I think we're both in the same boat here.
Well, Eric Schmidt, CEO.
Oh my God! Thank you.
Now we don't know the reasons behind this, but usually when a CEO steps down, they hint at it. There's leak. It's coming. That I hadn't seen anything about this, and bang, today it's just he'll be stepping down in January.
Yeah, and it was
like that's just
Well, and let's what we do know about Google is they're seemingly involved with the Clinton, mafia in data malfeasance. And this I found out that I didn't know. The little truck that goes around and does Google Earth and does the street mapping and all that. You know what else it does?
I have no idea.
It robs your data right off your cell phone.
Oh yeah?
In real time. Yeah. So if a couple of those accidentally get robbed, these people are just evil, and that's another good part of this, that this tech side of this deep state, basically genocidal, technology that's going on is you got the and who's the head of that? Eric Schmidt. Well, he's out of there. So this is, it just gets wider and wider, and it's all done. And we've said this from day one, that once you deal with the corruption, it's a circle, and the child trafficking is in that circle, and you can't deal with one part of it without dealing with another part. So it really seems like it's going on, and more power to it.
Yeah, and with all the technology, I just tweeted out a story about it was Cousins, a 40-year-old convicted pedophile, and his 25-year-old cousin. They were raping a 2-year-old with intent to sell the video. And with these videos being put out, and we know about the live streaming, some done on Skype. We've seen stories about that. These tech companies, they can find anything. Yeah. And with all the child pornography that's being passed around, the live streaming of child rape, where's the money being put into stopping this? I haven't seen that story yet. Yeah,
you get jail, and it's true, and you see it, and they're complicit, but that shit's coming to an end too, because we've got a convicted sex offender that's been on Facebook, and there's still people are reporting that, and it's still in process, is what they're being told, so, but you or I, out that fact, and we get jail, it's right. Laughable, but
or call somebody a bad name, like
PUSS. I didn't say nothing.
Yeah.
I'm just glad you're back, because man, it's lonely, and I mean, we got so many people there, but you're my partner, dude. You're my partner. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I send out a couple good tweets every now and again, and I think Twitter's a better social media platform when I'm on it, whether they like to.
I would agree with you. I feel it when you're not there, dude. It's nice. It's good to have a partner. It's a fire department thing.
And with all
two in, two out.
It's frustrating too, because I mean, I was out all day, and I get on Twitter, and the trends are like all 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. They're all sports related. Michael Beasley, Sixers, Temple University. I don't know what Huncho Jack is, but Bobrovsky's goaltender. Let's Go Pens, Columbus. I guess it's the Blue Jackets. Sidney Crosby, the Toronto Raptors, and the Gasparilla Bowl, some crappy ass bowl game. All sports related. I didn't.
And we missed one real quick. We missed that the DOJ is officially investigating the Uranium One deal. Bye, Hillary.
I did see Uranium One trend earlier.
But and that's tied into the Hezbollah Obama administration drug trafficking, child trafficking. That was on Fox. I mean, the shit is hitting the fan. You're gonna need a level A suit to stay out of the way. But yeah, I'm looking at these trends, and so this is the other day. The Uranium One is going off, man. I mean, there's so many people that just anything like that is just going to go through the roof, and it was. But right. What's trending? Some stupid video game, Michael Beasley, 1-0 chocolate candy. I'm reading my.
I didn't set my preferences to all sports. I just like, come on, man.
Yeah. And the other time, I think it was when the day the Weinstein thing broke. I checked my trend was Virginia Winery or something. I'm like, what? So I reset it. I'm like, I don't want local trends, so I reset it. Now I got national trends, but this is what's trending right now. We've got a former president, Secretary of State, officially under investigation. Two former presidents, sorry. But Michael Beasley is trending. And the Knicks, Huncho Jack, which I have no idea. I think it's some kind of. I actually had to look at that. I thought it was the Twitter Jack, but I think it's SpongeBob. They're not doping this list, are they, Howie? Yeah, Papa John. He made 13. You make shitty pizza and nobody cares. So
Well, he made a lot of dough, but
yeah.
But as far as the Uranium One thing, I mean, that was well chronicled in Clinton Cash, obviously, and which was really well done. And listen, whether you were for Hillary or against Hillary, I mean, that was right out there. The 20% of United States uranium was passed through eventually to a Russian, a Russian.
You know who else is got it up in his neck, up to his neck in Uranium One?
Who?
Bob Mueller. He carried a sample of it on his person.
You can't make this stuff up. But my point was that whether you're liberal, conservative, or anywhere in between, like you would care about this. And the Hillary supporters just washed it away like it was literally nothing. Like they didn't care.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if Trump came out and said he was going to sell 20% of United States uranium to Russia? Oh my God. Rachel Maddow would fucking her head would explode right on television.
Yeah. Yeah. There is a large percentage.
They didn't care. They did that. It wasn't important.
Total total brainwash. You know, I think those people are going to go insane. You know, I really when they start breaking, I don't see.
Oh, they are insane. But
yeah, but I mean like rubber room, you know, drooling, banging your head against the padded wall, insane, that kind of insane. Or hopefully catatonic, because then you won't even have to hear them. You know, talk about Russia anymore.
Oh well,
mass catatonia. That I coined that term. You like that?
More stuff for us.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so you know, we're talking about you know, the Pennsylvania connection and the one piece of, and I've this is a first for me, because when we got this, you know, we were starting out, you know, with Penn State and Sandusky and Rendell, you know, via, you know, Greg Bucciaroni, you know, and then up, because this wasn't, I don't think it was well known that there was that rescue flight that went out. So we started to research it, and I was cautious, and, you know, I just said, what's up with Ed's trip to, you know, Haiti? But what we found so far, and I mean, seriously, with what we knew about Ed and what we knew about Laura Silsby and the Clinton Foundation and the trafficking that was going on, I was really concerned about those 53 kids. But in researching this, we ran across two, and as far as I can tell, you know, the heroes of that situation that were there way before an earthquake, since 2002. And I'm telling you, I'm pretty familiar with the conditions on the ground in Haiti. And for somebody at 23 years old, these are the McMutrie sisters, and I hope I'm not mispronouncing their name. But the older one went down to Haiti, you know, to volunteer with you know, a children's organization, and ended up, you know, staying down there. Her sister followed her down there. During that time, I think just before the earthquake, they were forming a small, you know, nonprofit so they could stay there and help about 50 kids, you know, which is about the number 50 to 100 that they took out of there. But apparently and we posted this article, we tweeted this out on our Twitter line, and it's going to be in the show notes. But please read this article, because I mean, it was the most pleasant surprise I've had in researching any of these types of stories. And it even seems, and my goal is to talk with one or both of these sisters, and find out, you know, because the model that I saw in reading through that article, it's a pretty intense article, and it was a follow-up, and that, you know, that's what we were asking for. We're like, where's the follow-up? What happened to these kids? You know, I was ready, and I was putting together resources, you know, to track them down, and we're still going to, you know, make sure that these kids, but I feel a lot better about them tonight. And we checked out the organization in Pittsburgh that they went to, which is it's a Catholic sister help organization that has a flawless record with children.
Haitian families first.
Yeah, well, that's the sisters, the two, not the Catholic sisters, the nun sisters, but that's the sisters organization. And all
right, we gotta stop saying sisters.
Yeah, the sister thing just totally threw me over the edge. But the point I'm trying to make is their model, and they've been on the ground, and they went back. They didn't, you know, it wasn't like Laura. You don't see Laura Silsby back in Haiti, you know, working with Haitian kids. You know, boom, where did she come from? Down there, oh, they catch her at the border, turn her around, you know, she comes back, you know, more kids, you know, comes back. Then they arrest her. It's like, look, lady, we're serious. You know, you're trafficking kids. And not to mention her Dominican attorney, and God, the stuff that's popping up, and we got to talk about that too, is you know, we're getting information coming forward that credible people, and I'm not even going to mention, you know, who they are or you know, at this point, but that know the details of the Silsby situation. And believe me, when you know, you'll either hear them on there, or you'll hear the details one way or another, when it's safe for these individuals to do so. But at any rate, the model that these girls came up with is to close the orphanages down there, support the families, these kids. And they kept, when we were making that point, when we were discussing this, it's like these kids have family, maybe one parent. Okay, well, support that family so the kid's not in an orphanage. Don't institutionalize these kids. And what struck me and what they're doing in Haiti, and they're doing it right now, and probably with very little, real help. They have gotten some larger corporate help, another corporation that we're checking out. But just that model with CPS in this country, does a light and a bell have to, do we have to get struck by lightning and say, yeah, the goal of the organization is to keep these kids in homes, with relatives, not in institutions or in harmful foster, I'm blown away. And like I said, I'm one of my short-term goals is to get in touch with the McMutrie sisters, and because I would like to hear their opinion on what Silsby did in the Clinton Foundation down there in Haiti, because we know this, we know what they did, but we've got two sisters down there from Pittsburgh that apparently have given their, and believe me, you want to live in rough conditions, go to Haiti, dangerous, disease, talk about a thankless, place to be, but they're getting the thanks out of helping these children, and I've got a pretty good BS detector, and believe me, I went over that article many times, different ways, everything involved. I could find nothing that set off any alarm bells, and talking to them, and I want to support what they're doing, and the community that we're getting together. Man, a network like that, take that model and bring it up here and change CPS. That's possible. So, anyway, there was something I almost forgot there. Or maybe I was just rambling. But, yeah. So
just sad, but you're entitled.
The Philadelphia, or not the... I think of Pennsylvania, I think of Philly, because Howie lives there. But, and we are going to get more into this because, we talked about it last week, that network that Sandusky was just a part of is still there. And, okay, slow down. All right. So we had the crowdsource, and all the atmosphere that's going on with people coming forward. We've had people come forward to the show that have it. One of them, and who I can talk about, was a reporter and a witness to Sandusky. He's a whistleblower, and he is working on that particular area of the Pennsylvania connection, and has expressed in January, and we're gonna have him on the show. And wow, what a it's like we're wishing for stuff and it's happening. What were we talking about? And tell them about your and just because it seems like Ed Rendell had no and the airlift was just there as far as we can tell. Right. But we do have some real issues with Ed, through Greg Bucciaroni, and just I would have an issue with him being around any kids at any time, but even a broke clock's right twice a day. But it's like these people are surfacing to give us and that's like what we're wishing for. So tell us about the guy that you ran into that has
I don't believe in coincidences, and I'll call him an acquaintance, and I was around him today, and we got to talking, and I brought up Greg Bucciaroni, saying that, and I thought I'd be informing him, that there's somebody out there that made accusations against Rendell from the 70s, and I basically told him, and he comes back at me and says he wasn't surprised. His father was a cop who had passed away, and he said Yeah, my dad knew about Ed. He was caught several times, around boys, and it was just passed under the rug. But they, and people, basically that people know about it, and I was just like, oh, I was bringing it up. I thought I was about to drop some information on him, and he was like, he didn't even bat an eye at it. And this is someone who's not involved in the pedogay community or anything like that. So obviously there are people out there that that can corroborate Greg Bucciaroni's story.
Absolutely, and what corroborates it for me is the story that ran in the New York Daily News. I haven't heard jack shit out of Ed Rendell about that story.
Somebody comes out and accuses you of this. You're going to say something.
Yeah, and not like on Twitter. I mean, a national news organization publishes a very detailed and comprehensive story about it, and you don't sue why didn't he sue the Daily News?
Sure.
Come on.
Sue him.
We just got our Twitter feed just it's hashtag Bucks County equals hotbed, and you're familiar with Bucks County, aren't you, Howie?
Oh, absolutely. That's Grace Packer. That's the Ferries. That's his last name is Kaplan, which is my last name, but it's with a K. The man who was gifted the Amish girls. There were probably like 4 or 5 like big stories. Obviously, Grace Packer's, just meant so much to me, and hearing about that last January, and that trial will be starting in against the mother and the boyfriend. That starts in March, I believe, but there's still a lot of other many unanswered questions that I wish I could really, but I'll probably try and get up to that trial when it goes on, and try and get the other players some attention, because they're trying to obviously keep the focus on. But yeah, a lot of things have happened in Bucks County. Bucks County is just right. It's right next to Philadelphia, and it's north, and it's a pretty large county, and it has some rural areas, and it has some not so rural areas. I always have trouble with that word, but
I don't even say it. I say the country.
Yeah, in the country.
I live in the country.
But aside from we're talking about like Ed Rendell not responding, but reporters also don't ask him any of these questions, like this art, they just like pretend that like they haven't read this or read this. I mean, where's the New York Post after it's like Rendell, do you care to comment? Of course he's not going to comment, but and
the because we researched the airlift pretty heavily, but and he totally screwed that up. I mean, he lied like 2 times, and they're interviewing the guy. He made it look like they just went down there and just on the seat of their pants. It sounded like to me, and I don't know if this is the case, but it sounded like he didn't want to get any heat because about $6,000 of taxpayer money got used to get him and his wife to where this chartered plane was. Then he's saying, well, I don't know how it happened, and then or the taxpayers didn't. If you read that, and that it's in the show notes, which is one of the initial articles about the airlift and his interview and how people were having problems with it. But he didn't help out his image and the interviews that he gave. I was like, I don't know what happened, but more will be revealed on Ed, and I don't even like to mention him with that airlift, because there was the Pittsburgh hospital people were involved in that who seemed like golden, and the McMutrie girls, and I think even that organization that gave a place, and according to that article, all those children were placed, and yeah, we're gonna check up on that. but
we can make a simple phone call to the organization just to find out.
Yeah, and I would love to, and I'm going to make contact with those women one way or another, and if I'm correct in my estimation of what they're doing, they'll want to do something like this. They'll want to do anything they can if trafficking is going on right now, and like I said, we were talking about that. So, well, how would they not know that? Maybe they were aware. Maybe taking care of 100 kids in Haiti is all you had. All you can see is what's right in front of your face. We can't make assumptions about they should have known, they should. But I would be very surprised if they weren't aware of it. That they probably weren't in a position where they could do anything about it. But I'm sure they had their hands full, and it seems just with what they're doing that they're on the right track, and they would cooperate with any effort to check up on kids, to highlight the trafficking that did go on, so that never happens again. So we'll see.
The first question I would ask these two women, have you ever heard of Laura Silsby?
yeah, me too.
Because if you've been down in Haiti and you know that this case, if they never heard of it, then it's like, I'm not saying I wouldn't believe them, but they're not, not. It's okay to do good, but if you're in that, if you're a player, in that country, you have to understand the climate and what else is going on.
Yeah,
you can't go around with blinders.
Yeah, but and that's the Wild West down there. That's easy for us to say, but I try to put myself in other people's shoes. And if you're down there and you're actually helping 50 kids, and you're up against, say, the Clinton Foundation, and you're in Haiti where people get murdered over, the way the wind blows. Are you going to be out there, raising hell? No.
Oh, no. I'm not saying raising hell. I just want to know I would just like to know if they are aware of the situation. That's all.
Yeah. And they still, and hopefully as this whole atmosphere changes and some of this corruption starts to get dealt with, the atmosphere will exist where, then they know they're going to be protected, and they can come out and they won't lose those 50 kids that they are able to help, so that, because these the evil of that infrastructure is that's what they do. They use good organizations to accomplish their evil. It's just so for two women to be facing that in Haiti, they're heroes and courageous, just like our survivors, Missy.
Yeah, listen. If they're doing good work, they're doing good work. God bless them. Yeah. All power to them. However, there's bad shit going on in Haiti. It just keeps coming up, and hopefully they can lend some insight as to why Haiti. Close proximity to the United States. Obviously, one of the poorest nations, in the world. But what they're just trying to understand, how and why these people, these fucking sick pedophiles.
They prey on the weak. They prey on the weak.
But they could do that in a lot of places. It just seems that, Haiti comes, it's not, I don't know if the corrupt government. We'd have to, do an entire, understanding. I'm not any kind of expert on Haiti. I just know it's, bad.
That country has been bad for a long. Because I do know some of the history, and from the Duvalier, and it's not, and you probably just don't hear about other areas as much, but it's all a product of the colonial system. That was a colony of France. in Africa, and the same stuff goes on. And then they got rid of the colonial powers, and the corrupt people took right over where they left off, and they're in a worse state. It just, and it's worldwide. It's in all areas. So but the
same corrupt, time, right now, I mean, because and I've talked about this, quite a bit, that people can look at what's going on in their own backyards, and I feel like right now, there's a lot of stuff going on in my own backyard, in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, and it just keeps coming, with right. Greg Butroni speaking up again, and I think a light needs to be shown on Ed Rendell.
It's
at least, and yeah.
I connected with the Pennsylvania connection, and the part that, and excuse me, we're going to have a direct witness to this. The whole infrastructure for Penn State and Sandusky, it's still there, and that's what was stressed by this individual is the judges, the alumni, the administration, the lawyers for Penn, that was all the network. I mean, it's a pedophile network, and it's still in place, and generally they just don't shut down,
Oh, absolutely not. And Sandusky took the fall. Apparently, he was too brazen. It's like anything else. You get, it's the life you live, and if you get caught, you're going down. Listen. But listen, the bottom line is, I've said it once, I'll say it a million times. Jerry Sandusky could not have done what he did for decades without at least hundreds of people in State College, which is the town in which Penn State resides, knowing about it. It's impossible. Everybody knew who Jerry Sandusky was. It was Joe Paterno, the most recognizable people in State College, Joe Paterno and Jerry Sandusky. They were the two most recognizable people. How could Jerry Sandusky be going around doing what he did? So everybody knew about it. And
like Meryl Streep. Oh, I didn't know.
It's literally impossible, because be like, hey, Jerry sure hangs around a lot of kids. Oh, he just like a kid sleeping over at his house. Come on, just stop it.
Oh,
like everybody knows, and you can't trust me. I went to Penn State for longer than I should have, and I lived in State College. You can't keep a secret in State College, Pennsylvania. Impossible. So,
and you think we'd be done with Pennsylvania now? We're not. and we segue from child trafficking right into DHS problems. And,
well, I want to add one more thing about the DA that went missing. Penn State is in, the town is State College, but it resides it's called Center County, Pennsylvania. The only two real towns, it's State College and a town called Bellefonte. And the actual district attorney of Center County went missing in 2005. I believe after, and some reports against, some accusations have been made. They've been made against Sandusky before, but I believe in 2004. Now, this guy just goes missing. His car was parked in some parking lot. No trace of him, anything.
Well, here's a little hand from Google. You type in Center County D, and the second thing is Center County DA missing. So,
yeah. His laptop was gone. It washed up on a bank of some river. About 3 years later, the hard drive was taken. there was obviously no information, and he was announced as a dead I forget what do you call it when they're pronounced dead without a body, John?
Oh Jesus.
Whatever it is.
Dead.
It just said
legally dead. Legally dead.
Stop. Cold case. Stop looking. Like like guys like that just don't go missing without a trace. The FBI is going to be in on that big time, and just nothing, and his car was found. Computer washes up on a river, and that's it. Sorry, nobody knows what happened. So
they just ran.
It just adds another layer to with all the Sandusky thing happening. Who knows what somebody knows what Ray Ricard was working on, but
Hey, statecollege.com just ran a story in March 30th saying basically they still don't know shit.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, just an update. We know nothing. That's great. Well, they're not looking for him anymore. He's dead. He's dead, according to them. Don't know how. Don't know why. They don't care. Like, oh, okay, sure. So,
wow.
Anyway, that's just another.
So yeah, and
another facet to the.
We just happened to be talking about Pennsylvania, but we tweeted this out earlier, and you can find it fairly easily. The Philadelphia Department of Children and Family Services, one of their subcontractor employees by the name of Borelli, was arrested with multiple images of child rape, and that was so. And the guy just happened to be an IT guy that works on their system. And along with him, they were arrested in New Jersey. Along with him, a Navy person with top secret clearance was also arrested for the same charge. And the point I want to make right off the bat is we have found through research that possessors of this material are offenders. Okay, flat out. Okay, that's not a mystery. It's not up for debate. It's not they don't collect this evil and just hold on to it and risk their lives and spending the rest of their life in prison. These guys are offending. So at any rate, he's arrested for possession of the images at this time. So we both set out to talk to DHS about this, and I said, how on earth would an IT guy, whether he's a subcontractor or not, have access to the IT department that is in charge of probably a lot of abused kids and their locations and their placement and everything else. So I made a call to her name is it was really interesting because we're talking and DHS is going to be an issue, and I probably just need to hurry up with this because there's a little bit to it. But at any rate, I called when I got. It took me an hour to get through to DHS in Philadelphia, and on the first three calls, first I was referred.
Not surprising.
First, I was referred to the local 311 system, which I don't think would work for me in Virginia. But we got through that hurdle, and then I finally got a number of somebody that was supposed to know who their media representative was, and they gave me a number to the gas company. So after the fourth call and recall, I was finally given the correct number to Heather. Heather is her name. I don't have her last name. I have it somewhere, but she's the public information officer for them. And I left a message with her, and the call wasn't returned, so I called again. And I think this was yesterday. And she indeed she picked up the phone. I was shocked. And I asked her, about the story. We were trying to confirm it. We were shocked. And she got all my information. Who we are, why we were asking, and so forth. And she said, yes, I can confirm that he was an employee of a subcontractor, and yes, he was arrested. And my next question, immediate question, was that I thought I could probably get an answer to, was, did he have access to the information from the children? And it was like a door shutting. It was like, I need to send you the statement put out by the department. And I'm going to read it right now. DHS was surprised and horrified to learn the charges against Mr. Borelli. DHS learned of his arrest on December 11th from an online news article and promptly contacted law enforcement. So I guess they're perusing online news. We are currently cooperating fully with the authorities. Borelli was employed as an independent contractor of DHS. He did IT-related work for approximately 15 years and was one of a team of people whose role it is to build and support the IT infrastructure at DHS. In his role, Mr. Borelli did not have direct contact with children. Well, IT people don't. Okay, but they're making that a point. On Friday, December 8th, 2017, we were informed by our contractor that Borelli resigned. Oh, thank God. His connection to DHS IT systems was promptly terminated. Yeah, okay. Our IT system, which is hosted on city servers, continues to be fully functional, and we work to improve our system continues to remain on track. Only we give the number out to the gas company. But at any rate, that wasn't an email. Contractors who work directly with children undergo all clearances in accordance with Child Protective Services law. Contractors who do not work directly with children, this is like fine print here. Contractors who do not work directly with children are not subject to the same requirements, which vary depending on what services you're purchasing. What in the hell does that mean? Okay, I don't know. I'm writing her back with some follow-up questions, and I'm hoping there's some kind of news organization that's following up on this, because if you've got number one, answer the question: did he have access? And if he's got access to information on these kids, why is he exempt from the background check of the people who have physical contact with them? What's the difference? How do they understand how predators work?
Don't worry, John. They're in my backyard. I can go down and ask them face to face. So they can it's real easy over the phone, but face to face. Let's see how they react to those questions.
To me, that sounds, and this is their statement. That sounds like an excuse for why this guy didn't undergo a background check. And if I have information on at-risk children, and I've got somebody who has access to it, I don't care if the kid is with him or not. What's the big deal on running a background? Is it too expensive for the state? It's ridiculous. So that's one we'll be following up on. And please live stream it when you go down there, Howie. I love that sort of stuff.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
We're almost out of time. I'm gonna enjoy a nice quiet. Family's coming in tomorrow. We're gonna have a nice quiet Virginia Christmas. Simple, a fire.
Look for me New Year. Look for me Christmas Eve.
Yeah, me too. I'll be with you, Howie.
All right, bro. Merry Christmas, everybody.